What is up, everybody? This is Lyle, No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. Just wanted to kind of come back and add a little bit to my video where I spoke about the requirements for Prime Inc. TNT training going from 30,000 to 50,000 miles. Before I get into that, I do want to say that this video is not being sponsored by Cornhusker Lotion, but this stuff does do the trick, and it's been a while since I've used this. I'm glad that somebody left this in the comments below, so if you were the one, I appreciate it. But what I wanted to kind of talk about in this training situation, some people act like Prime broke the law, or I was crazy thinking that people needed that additional training. And what I'm going to say is, maybe some people do, maybe some people don't. But one thing I do know, or let's ask this question to yourself: do you want to be Kobe Bryant or do you want to be Kwame Brown? You know what I'm saying? I can almost assure you that if Kobe Bryant was getting into the trucking industry with his mindset, he would not be looking at some arbitrary number as the minimum it was going to take for him to succeed. Kobe was going to put in that work. You know what I'm saying? So which one do you want to be? Now, chances are that most people aren't going to either be Kobe Bryant or Kwame Brown. Probably going to end up somewhere in that middle area. Let's say like a Robert Ory, somebody that had a long serviceable career but never really rose to his 100% potential. And I got a little story on this. And a lot of times when I'm talking about different things in videos, it's not because I haven't learned this shit by doing the wrong stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying don't go out and buy a bunch of shit that's going to go down in value because I didn't do it. I'm doing it because I'm trying to save somebody the struggle that I had to put in for that. You know what I'm saying? So I was in the mortgage business, you know what I'm saying? And I got in the mortgage business with all the potential, you know what I'm saying? Gregarious personality, pretty hard worker. But I was never willing to put in that real work, you know what I'm saying? I did enough work to make a good living, but not enough, there's some mortgage bankers out there and stuff like that that are making $1 million and up and stuff like that. Difference was those guys put in a lot of that hard work up front to make it a whole lot easier down the road. You know what I'm saying? Plus, when it came to training, they weren't not doing the training when it came up. They were looking for the training. You know what I'm saying? They were going out of their way to get more education and stuff like that. I know a girl I used to work with, and I'm not sure if she's still doing it, but she was doing it for a couple years. And the only reason I don't know is because I haven't talked to her in a few years, but she used to spend $3,000 a month for a business coach. You know what I'm saying? It's that kind of dedication. Now, I'm not saying that you need to do that in this trucking business or that you even need to do 50,000 miles, but it's just the mindset. As soon as people start talking about minimums, that lets me know where their head's at. And this may be harsh, and I'm not trying to come off as harsh. I mean, you can do the job, okay? You could probably do this job at 15,000 miles, but you're not going to be great at it. You know what I'm saying? Can you work your way into it? Yeah, possibly. But how many people do I know in this industry that I'm like telling them how to run their clocks? You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, I just watched 2 videos. Not going to mention the companies, but 2 videos. And one video where was a guy that was waiting at a shipper and receiver, and he was getting all pissed off, and he was saying, I started my clock 4 hours ago and the time is just dwindling by. And then there was another person that basically said the same thing. Now, some companies don't allow split sleeper bursts, 7, 3, 8, 2s, all that kind of stuff, so it may not apply for one of these people, but I know one of the companies does do that. If somebody took the job actually serious enough to really care about learning more about it, then you would know. If you're sitting at a shipper receiver, your hours aren't dwindling and dwindling. If you've been sitting at the shipper for 6 hours, your clock has been paused. You know what I'm saying? Take your ass to sleep and then just run it out later. You know what I'm saying? So it's just the mindset that I'm talking about more than the actual miles. You know what I'm saying? So from my past experience, I said, you know what I want to do is I want this to be as effortless as possible. You know what I'm saying? That's why I spent the time on my trainer's truck. Not because I couldn't have done it earlier or anything like that. And I mean, some of y'all are coming from professions where you might have been making more money than the training pay at Prime, but I see a whole lot of people out there that aren't. So it can't be a money situation. You know what I'm saying? It's a impatience kind of a thing. We're talking about 3 months. So if I'm saying that the majority of the people that I've heard of that have stayed on their trainers' trucks are older, let's say 45 years and up, something like that, we have less fucking time on this earth than you guys do, for the, if you just look at the averages, but we're the ones that are actually voluntarily putting in more time. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm sure there are some younger people that do it too, but I'm just hearing more about the older people that are doing it. It's 3 months. If you're in your 20s, 30s, or whatever, what's 3 fucking months? That's nothing. You know what I'm saying? And forget about the 3 months, or forget about that. The extra 20,000 miles in the scheme of thing, if you're going to say, okay, this is going to be my career, you add an extra month onto somebody's career to actually make them better, nobody's going to come off their trainer's truck after an extra 20,000 miles and be worse off than they were at the 30,000 miles. It's just not going to happen. So all I'm saying, and I'm not saying that everybody needs it, but it kind of is what it is, but it's not whether you need it or not. Like I keep going back to, it's the mindset. It's that whole, let me do the minimum mindset. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, when I was in the mortgage business, you could have called me the Robert Ory of the mortgage business. You know what I'm saying? Not illustrious, but a long career. Made it to management, all that stuff. But I just look at how much I left on the table. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying that can apply here too. How many people do you think leave the trucking industry because you obviously have the lifestyle, but there's a lot of people that just leave it just because of their training, or they're not able to maximize their income because they're not trained up enough, or once they have got their training, they haven't tried to learn a little bit more. And one of the things I'm going to always talk about is that hours of service and stuff like that. But the hardest thing about being a trainer when things are based on miles is because a trainee thinks that their miles equate to experience. And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But if somebody, like I said, in a perfect world, we'd be able to say, you know what, Lyle, go grab this student, train them, and then when you felt they've been trained sufficiently, bring them back and we'll upgrade them, whether that's 10,000 miles, 70,000 miles, whatever it is. Because one of the scariest things as a trainer is once they get those 30,000 miles or now 50,000 miles, and it could be 50,001 miles. It could be the next load's going back to the terminal or wherever to upgrade. That focus is a little bit off. You know what I'm saying? And especially if it's going to be, especially if you're going into like a couple thousand miles more, that might not seem like a lot, but you get somebody that's all they're doing is counting miles. Those are some dangerous miles. You know what I'm saying? That's why even if when somebody has the miles, that I'm trying to get them off the truck. You know what I'm saying? I think it'd be easier for me if it wasn't a mileage thing where I could just say, you know what, we're done. And I don't have to worry about that little lapse of judgment and everything, or just that loss of focus when people hit that 30,000. It's like 30,001 miles, boom, lack of focus to some degree or another. So, a lot of people like basketball. They say that Kobe's one of the greats and everything like that, but nobody wants to put in that work like Kobe. And I'm not even saying that, I'm not comparing what I did to Kobe or anything like that. I'm just saying that mindset where, practice is up, let's go. You know what I'm saying? That's what separated him from everybody else. The people that just think about the miles and think about, whatever arbitrary number they need to hit to upgrade, those aren't necessarily people that are going to be ready to upgrade, and that mindset isn't going to be the mindset that actually makes them great once they do upgrade. You know what I'm saying? So just wanted to throw that out there. I'm not trying to be harsh, anything like that. I'm telling you this because of all these mistakes I've made in my life. I'm not telling you this because I haven't fucking gone through some dumb shit in my life, whether it's this or any other topic that I've spoke on. So anyway, on to a different topic. I have just not been that motivated to do shit out here, you know. I got behind on my expense reports, finally got those things caught up. My wife had bought like 3 racks of ribs, and I'm over here looking at that smoker, and I'm just like, man, I don't even want to go buy no charcoal if I want to do it on the charcoal one. I don't want to go buy no pellets if I want to use the pellet one. I don't want to go buy no wood if I'm using the stick burner. You know, it's just, so I was just like, you know what? I'm so lazy. Let me just get these ribs. I'm going to cut them up into like 2 little bone sections, season them up, throw them in a Dutch oven, throw some sauce on top of them, like a poblano, kind of a green Mexican sauce. Throw that on there. Throw them in the oven at 395 and cook that shit off the bones, and then make some tacos out of the meat later on today. I just even the thought of worrying about some shit on a smoker, especially my stick burner, is too much for me to be thinking about right now. That stick burner's lonely. I don't think I've used that thing for about 3 years. Shit, more than 3 years, probably 4 years. So if you live in Colorado and you want a smoker, you know, hit me up. But enough about that. Out here trying to buy all the stuff I need for winter. So been doing a little bit of that. Probably going to take my truck up to Peterbilt either Friday or Saturday, throw that in the shop to get a recall issue done, oil change, filters. You know, while they're at it, I'm gonna have them throw on some wiper blades and shit like that. If they're already doing it, the little amount of money that costs, might as well do that. And that's about it. Just trying to relax. Still not sure of when I'm going to come out of here. I'm really not feeling, I don't know, I feel a little bit off. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of it is this whole Denver yard closing down and me kind of being up in the air on when I really want to come out and what makes the most sense and stuff like that. But that's a totally different topic. But I appreciate you guys stopping by No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. As always, comment, subscribe. I'm out.